Our topic that we're going to talk about today is the origins of life. The beginning of the research starts with two scientists named Redi and Pasteur. Both of these scientists performed experiments to disprove spontaneous generation. To start out with, Redi performed an experiment with two jars of meat. One jar had a lid on it while the other was open to the air. The one that was open to the air ended up having bugs and maggots all over it, while the one with a lid on didn't. Pasteur's experiment started out with two test beakers, one with an S-shaped nozzle coming out of it and the one open to the air. Both of these beakers contained broth. The test beaker that was open to the air grew bacteria in the broth. The beaker with the S-shaped nozzle coming out of it grew the bacteria in part of the S, and there was no growth within the broth itself. Both of these experiments proved that there is no spontaneous generation. Now we can continue on to talk about two more scientists, Miller and Urey. Miller and Urey thought of the primordial soup theory, which talks about the conditions of early Earth. The primordial soup consisted of atmosphere that did not contain oxygen, storms which produce lightning, rain, and the ocean which contained biological molecules. These conditions on early Earth led to the evolution of cells. Cells evolved in four stages, starting with anaerobic heterotrophs, photosynthetic bacteria, aerobic bacteria, and eukaryotes. Anaerobic heterotrophs were able to be the first cells because they did not require oxygen and were able to produce their own food. Photosynthetic bacteria produced the first oxygen in the atmosphere. This production of oxygen by photosynthetic bacteria allowed for the formation of aerobic bacteria. The final cell formation was of eukaryotes. Eukaryotes were formed by the endosymbiotic theory. The endosymbiotic theory states that eukaryotic organelles were formed by engulfing bacteria. If a cell engulfed photosynthetic bacteria, it could have evolved into the chloroplast. If aerobic bacteria was taken in, it would have formed the mitochondria. To summarize all our information, we have two scientists named Redi and Pasteur who disproved spontaneous generation using experiments that dealt with meat that grew bugs on it and broth that grew bacteria in it. We have two more scientists named Miller and Urey who formed the primordial soup theory of Earth's early atmosphere, which did not include oxygen. This allowed for the evolution of cells, such as anaerobic heterotrophs, photosynthetic bacteria, aerobic bacteria, and finally eukaryotes. Eukaryotes were formed by the endosymbiotic theory because it allowed for the formation of organelles. That's all you need to know about the origins of life.